Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving headfirst into a world of just unimaginable wealth, mind-bending technology, and pure luxury. We are talking about super yachts. These are more than just boats. They're floating palaces, the ultimate symbols of status and power sailing the high seas. So let's just start at the absolute top, shall we? What in the world could possibly justify a price tag that's bigger than the entire economy of some countries? I mean, what does that kind of money actually get you out there on the open water? $4.8 billion. Just let that sink in for a second. That's the price of the world's most expensive yacht, the History Supreme. It's a number that's so huge it's almost funny, which, leads to the obvious question. What on earth is this thing made of? Well, that staggering cost starts to click when you realize the History Supreme isn't really a yacht. It's basically a floating treasure chest. It's built with over 100,000 kilograms of solid gold and platinum. The dining area, the deck, heck, even the anchor is made from precious metals. But the most unbelievable detail? It has to be the feature wall in the master bedroom. It's made from actual meteoric stone and, get this, it has shavings of a genuine T-Rex bone embedded right into it. Yeah, you heard me, a Tyrannosaurus Rex on a boat. As completely mind-blowing as the History Supreme is, it's just one, really extreme example. The world of superyachts is absolutely filled with vessels that are constantly pushing the limits of engineering, security, and pure luxury. So let's take a look at some of the other titans of the sea. Okay, so meet the Eclipse. It's owned by Roman Abramovich and valued at a cool $1.5 billion. Now, this isn't just a pleasure craft. You gotta understand, this thing is a floating fortress. It comes equipped with its own missile detection and self-defense systems. It's really less of a yacht and more of a private naval vessel. And of course, when you're not busy fending off potential threats, you can, enjoy one of the 2 swimming pools, a disco hall, or even take a ride in your personal mini submarine, as you do. Now, if the Eclipse is all about security, the $650 million Azam is all about one thing: speed. And to give you an idea of its power, its top speed is right up there with a modern Navy frigate. It uses these really similar engine modes for both high-speed sprints and more efficient long-range cruising. It's just a stunning feat of performance engineering, all wrapped up in absolute luxury. And of course, we can't talk about this without mentioning the new kids on the block. The tech billionaires are making their mark. Jeff Bezos' yacht, Kourou, recently hit the water, and the name itself is pretty significant. It's a Maori word that symbolizes new beginnings, growth, and strength. It's a pretty fitting name for one of the newest and most talked about vessels out there, kind of representing a new chapter in this super exclusive world. So, we've seen these incredible yachts, but what about the industry behind them? With global pandemics, sanctions, and all this economic uncertainty, you would think a market built on such extreme, over-the-top luxury would be, well, fragile. The reality, though, is pretty surprising. I mean, think about it. The last few years have thrown everything you can imagine at the superyacht market. The COVID pandemic caused an initial dip, for sure. Global sanctions led to some very high-profile yachts being seized from Russian owners who are major buyers. And on top of all that, a general economic slowdown meant the actual number of billionaires in the world went down slightly. It really sounds like the perfect storm for a total market collapse. But here's the wild part. That collapse, it never happened. Instead, the market is absolutely booming. It was valued at around $10 billion in 2023, and it's projected to just balloon to nearly $18 billion by 2032. So despite all those massive headwinds, the industry proved to be, well, remarkably unsinkable. Which just begs the question, why? Well, this quote from Fortune Business Insights gives us a huge clue. It turns out the very thing that seemed like a massive threat, the pandemic, actually ended up fueling demand. For those who could afford it, a superyacht suddenly became the ultimate safe haven. It was a perfectly controlled, totally isolated, and obviously luxurious environment to just ride out the storm. It literally transformed from a luxury toy into what some saw as a necessity for safety and seclusion. And get this growth isn't just coming from the same old owners. A full 40% of people who just charter a yacht are now first-time buyers. This shows a continuous pipeline of new interest and fresh money pouring into the market. So the appetite for these vessels isn't just resilient, it's actually expanding to a whole new group of people. So that brings us to our final section. With a market that's thriving and new buyers jumping in, where does the industry even go from here? What is the next generation of these incredible vessels going to look like? What's fascinating is that the future seems to be getting pulled in two almost contradictory directions at the same time. On one hand, there's this undeniable push for sustainability. I mean, they face a lot of criticism for their environmental footprint, so builders are now innovating to meet stricter CO2 standards, developing battery-powered vessels and even zero-emission concepts. But on the other hand, there's this relentless pursuit of tech perfection and autonomy. We're talking about augmenting the human crew with AI-assisted navigation and even developing fully autonomous security systems. It's all about pushing the boundaries of what's even possible on a private ship. And this leaves us with one last big thought. As personal fortunes continue to grow and technology just keeps advancing, what's going to be the ultimate priority for these titans of the sea? Will this industry become a surprising leader in green technology, charting a course for sustainable innovation on our oceans? Or will that limitless pursuit of private, resource-intensive luxury always win out? It's a huge question that's going to help define the future of not just these vessels, but the very oceans they sail on.